Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here at my channel, Balcomy's Alchemy. I'm Balcomy. And on my channel, I like to talk about a lot of astrology. But basically right now, what I am doing is discussing a system that I discovered that works within the astrological system. And it's called Numerical Astro-Alchemy. And what the system does is basically it looks at the different aspects within astrology. Then we take the numerical value that are associated with those aspects, add them together to see what type of energy it alchemizes to. And every time, just like clockwork, there's more intel that just kind of makes more sense when you compare the aspects and look at the alchemy as well. So I'll just discuss the system. I've done this a couple times before in some other videos, so I won't spend too much time on that. But today I will get into the lovely pair of opposition. So we're doing a journey through the opposite signs. And I do this also too because sometimes astrology is just so compartmentalized and it's always looked at individually. Shout out, right? Sometimes it's easy to take it, step by step, one bite at a time. But also I like to look at things in comparison to their aspects, especially like opposition, because when you look at the opposites, you really see that opposites attract. In fact, they are different sides of the same coin. So here today, we're going to be talking about the side of the coin that deals with lineage from the home, the fourth house of Cancer, okay? And then we're going to be also discussing the 10th house that deals with legacy, as far as your reputation, public life, and status with that of the 10th house. Now, when it comes to the fourth house, we are talking about Cancer. Cancer is the cardinal water element that leads us and kicks us off into the summertime. Okay, hey, it's the summertime. Summertime. It's hot as hell. Okay, so it's absolutely fitting that we have the waters of Cancer to cool us off when we need it the most. Okay, also my homeboy kind of calls it the first flood. So when we think about what summer represents, right, which is the simmering, okay, it's when we really cooking. Okay, let it cook. Okay, now that we're really cooking and there is a lot of momentum, okay, the water is truly boiling. This water also helps us to intuitively guide us along the process, right? It's that information that comes to you as you're going through the process where you can become a bit more reflective before everything really heats up, right? Like Leo season is going to get real hot, right? Virgo is the perfect season to refine what you've created, okay? But the build up to that was just you getting familiar, getting quiet, going somewhere private if need be, so that you can really become more familiar, aka like your family, with what it really takes for the lineage to be produced, what waters you need to pour into the roots, right? And sometimes you have to feel that out. If you're trying to go on a journey, okay, emotion is a strong intelligence. If you're going on a journey and you're scared, you're probably going to act out scared, right? If you're going into a journey and you're upset, you may have to deal with more battles along that journey, right? Emotional intelligence is key. We hear a lot of conversations about this on social media about the lack sometimes of emotional intelligence, okay? Get you a Cancer friend. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you should get you a Cancer friends because they are some of the grooviest people, right? Shout out to Cancers, okay? But also, Cancer is very protective, okay? Cancer is a very protective energy when it comes to the fourth house because when you think about lineage, right, these are the things that you want to protect, okay? The roots of the plant are hidden within the earth for that reason, okay? Because the earth serves as a house and a home and a safe haven from, animals and insects who would bite the roots, right? And the roots are how the plant absorbs the moisture, right? Which is also why I think water or Cancer is associated, the cardinal waters are associated with the fourth house, okay? So these are home, private matters, family, security. We have the crab here. In fact, crab, crustacean means hard, okay? And the home or the security that we find from home feels very foundational, right? In fact, if you think about the word family, right, there's also this aspect of familiar that comes with it, right? Like we know our cousins, we know auntie, We know who gonna cry and act a fool at the funeral, okay? We know who spaghetti gonna be good, all right? We know all of these things, okay? Because we're familiar with these people, okay? So also when we're in our processes, right? Because astrology represents that as well, okay? So when we're in our processes, the fourth house is a great time to just become more familiar with the things that you are producing and taking part in, okay? Because as we become more familiar, we get more intuitive guidance. We can also reflect a bit more, okay? The fourth house is the nighttime. So while we're generating, while we let her cook, right? Now we can go into the fourth house in our private moment and just reflect on what the moon shows us, right? This is that very reflective, intuitive nature that only the moon provides us, okay? It's a beautiful moment. It's in a beautiful space. Now, I was talking about the crab for a reason, okay? Again, it's something about becoming very foundational and solid and familiar with the things that we want to build up in, okay, that we want to become more familiar in, all right? And the crab is the perfect representation because it's going to hold you down, okay? It's not going to hold you back. Shout out to that euphemism of us talking about crabs in a barrel. Okay, because I like to look at the crabs in the barrel thing a little bit different, okay? And we get you. Sometimes family hold you down too much. Sometimes because, you know, can you figure out another way? Am I the only motherfucker you know in this city? Okay. I love my family. I do. Okay. Somebody might need to hear that though. Okay. Sometimes that does happen. Family can, of course, be that security that you need, but they can also kind of be the little clingy, you know, holding you down all the time, right? Which is where that crabs in the barrel mentality comes from. Okay. But the other aspect of this too, right? When you think about crabs in their natural element, when fishermen are coming to fish for them, right? They don't have an arsenal of weaponry, okay? What they do have, though, is their ability with those hard, tough legs and whatever arms and shit like that, right? Basically, they hold on to each other, okay? And they're holding on for dear life because they are familiar with their family, with their cousin, with their girl, with their homie, right? Whatever crabs got going on up under the sea, okay? These are the things and people these are the crabs that they're familiar with, right? So if nothing else, all they can do is hold on to one another, okay? And that's what family does. That's what that's what lineage does, okay? That's what becoming familiar with something does, right? If nothing else, they can't take this away from me, okay? Because I have become familiar with it, right? And that's what this aspect of the fourth house represents, okay? So keywords are privacy, security, foundation, childhood, and also guidance as well under the moon, under the light of the moon. Now, let's talk about the 10th house, okay? Because this is the opposition. The fourth house is the internal aspect, right? So this is how we kick off our simmer time, right? When we're really getting our momentum going from the fourth house. But when we look at the external opposition, now we're looking at the winner, okay? It's getting real. The winner's circle is about to be determined, right? So that lineage that we were becoming more familiar with, that we were nurturing, that we were taking care of from the fourth house, right? That we were protective of, I should say. Now that lineage is becoming the legacy. I just really was trying to lead up to saying that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a wordsmith. I be loving words and shit. I was like, ooh, lineage, legacy. Okay. Anyway. I'm silly, y'all, all right? Let me not be obnoxiously silly, all right? Because you're not here for that. You're here for what I talk about, which is the numerical Astro-Alchemy, y'all. Thank you for joining me as well here at my channel. If you have come now, basically, you're answering the call. Shout out for being an early riser, an early attender, okay? I appreciate you. You my people, okay? You showed up in my dreams, okay? We like that, all right? And I appreciate you for taking the time to enjoy the space with me, okay? So I wanted to say that as I talk about the numerical Astro-Alchemy. But I'm a little scattered, y'all. I apologize. I've been up all night. I moonlight as well, okay? So let me get back into the content. When it comes, though, to the 10th house, where the legacy is going to be birthed from the lineage, all right? Now we're going to be taking a look at the midhaven, the public life, your reputation, your status, how good your name is in these streets, right? What you're known for, okay? And it's completely opposite, of course, from home life, right? At home, you could be big bad motherfucker. Get out here in this world, old girl, that ain't worried about him, right? That can happen sometimes. Sometimes at home, we can be tough, parental guidance figures. And then out in the world, we are receiving the guidance and authoritative lashings from these motherfuckers at work, right? Have a say a day, B. But the 10th house is the legacy. It's the reputation. It's ultimately the status of what we're known for. It's ruled by Capricorn and Saturn as well. Okay, now Capricorn is the GOAT. Point blank and the period. They the GOATs. They the OGs at it. They know how to climb the ladder because of the ambitious nature that the 10th house represents, right? Because here's the thing. If they don't climb, everybody's going to know that they failed, right? So there's a lot on the line for Capricorn, all right? When it comes to the 10th house. The 10th house does represent career, social status, reputation, honors, awards, and talents. Because if you've made it to the summit of that mountain, okay, you had to make that climb. You had to be ambitious. You had to be steadfast. You basically had to Saturn up your qualities, okay? And deal with the reality. The reality is that I've got to climb this mountain, okay? And the goats do that. I think, I know there's one particular goat that there's a mineral in the rocks that they take in, and that helps give them, the salts or the cell salts that they need and shit like that, right? But anywho, it's a part of their survival nature, okay? So, and a lot of times, we come from glens and we come from valleys low, all right? And if it's too much water, cancer, right? If that area get flooded, what else can we do but climb, right? We've got to climb, and we've got to show our determination and our persistence when it comes to getting towards the goal, right? And Capricorn embodies that as well. Now, also with the 10th house, we're talking legacy as well, okay? So the things that we poured into, that we nurtured, that we took care of, now those fruits are beginning to show up in the world, okay? So if you were nurturing good seeds and you were taking care of people and doing what you needed to do, your reputation is going to be good for that, right? Pretty much. Now, of course, if you was dropping the ball and you was out here, just doing anything, however you felt, right, your reputation is going to reflect that as well. I'm trying to think of anything else that I needed to say about the 10th house, right? But that's pretty much the axis that we're talking about. The ambition that naturally comes with the 10th house of being what we're known for, okay? A lot of that's inspired from things that we feel privately, Isn't that kind of strange? But it's like, sometimes, like, take any dream that you have, right? Whether it's a dancer or a singer, the shit that you do in the shower, right? By yourself, all right? Sometimes we can kind of, in a way, want to be known for those things, okay? Doesn't always happen, right? Again, these are opposite energies, but the inspiration is often taken away from things that we personally feel connected to, right? So that's a part of this opposite aspect as well. So yeah, okay, essentially, right? Let me just go ahead and get to the alchemy, y'all, because I'm a little tired. I'm running low on energy. I can feel it. So I just wanted to get into the meat and potatoes of it, right? Because a lot of us know about the 4th house. A lot of us know about the 10th house. And a lot of us know about this opposition, right? But the hidden alchemy here is once we take 4 plus 10, we're going to get to 14, reduces to a 5. So the alchemy here is going to be the 5th house, which is what we enjoy and what we love, okay? And there's something about pouring into the public personas that we want to have, okay? And making sure that at the end of it, it alchemizes into something that we enjoy. Wouldn't it be fucking horrible to pour into a reputation that sucks and that you're not known for nothing and just crappy servants and stuff, right? Don't make anybody feel bad, okay? So the way that we can alchemize this energy, right, of taking what we feel privately and how it shows up in the world and what we're known for is to remember, are we truly operating in the essence of how we want our personal reputation, right? Or how we want our reputation to represent us, basically, right? That's a big one. And with the 5th house here, we are often encouraged to balance that out and to neutralize it in a way that we're remembering to do the things that make us feel good, the things that amuse us, the things that we enjoy, right? but ultimately looking at how this is going to generate, okay? Because if I privately am gossiping and doing some bullshit behind somebody's back, right, that totally can be a private moment until it becomes public. Happens every day. Ask P. Diddy. That nigga probably was like, man, I thought them videos was burnt. I thought I paid them. Somebody got fired from Diddy's camp, okay? If I'm going to jail and I told him to wipe this shit up and clean this up, baby, you know it, okay? Terrible thing that he did. Okay, anyway, moving on, right? Because the Lord, they saturated the Diddy situation. Let me not bring that up again, okay? But there's also this thing too of the things that we do in private. Sometimes they can become public, okay? So, you know, would it make you feel good for these things to become public, right? All those little nasty things you be doing, okay? Let me get out your business. Let me get out your business, okay? Because this ain't that. I'm no judgment, okay? I'm a Libra moon. I'm fair, okay? We all have some shit that we ain't trying to get, you know? And because of that, right? The alchemy here just also reminds us that sometimes the things that we do in private, when it comes to public matters, it can be on full display. This is the 5th house alchemy, right? The 5th house is the sun. It's Leo. It's big and it's bold, okay? And the 4th house is more comfortable at the house chilling, right? It ain't trying to be seen like that, right, per se, okay? At least not just seen raw, right? It kind of needs some filtration. Some refinement so that we can intuitively know what to display, know what to show, know how to lead in with our vulnerabilities, right? Because for real, right? Have you ever like gotten into a conversation with somebody who just led in and poured in all of their emotional bullshit? Ma'am or sir, okay? If you don't miss me with that, okay, because I'm not trying to carry your trauma around with me, okay? This is not my problem. It's just not. All right. It also too, though, when we think about it, right, these people sometimes can get a kind of reputation for that, like, oh my gosh, I just feel so drained every time Becca comes around. It's always something, right? You know, so we have to kind of be mindful of those things, right? It's about intuitively understanding the intelligence of our emotions, right? When you get a feeling, okay, because I don't like that the modern world likes to dismiss emotions as like this fragile thing, okay? If done right, your emotions can save your motherfucking life, okay? You get a gut feeling. In fact, if done right, your emotions can tap you into something that's the next that's the next best thing, okay? A little passionate right there, right? Maybe somebody needs to hear that, right? So don't dismiss those things that you feel, okay? It's about, though, the balance of siphoning with it, okay? Letting the mother, letting the moon, letting Luna allow you to see the perspective of what's truly being communicated, right? What you truly need to be receptive to, okay? And you have to open up to do that, right? You have to open up to how you feel and the guidance that the moon offers, okay? So again, I don't like to dismiss emotions. I don't like to dismiss feelings. Gut instincts have saved fucking lives. They have made millionaires billionaires, okay? All right? Just by following the intuitive guidance to do so, okay? So we cannot underestimate the power of pouring in to becoming familiar with the task, right? Pouring in and nurturing good seeds, taking care of it, right? Just like we would take care of our home, right? Sometimes doing these things in private, so not everybody can see what we got going on, right? At that moment, right? It's at the house, right? Everybody can't see that bomb dress that you designing, okay? But once you present it, they gonna know you got the skill, okay? This is the alchemy that we're talking about. And when we add these things, it typically can be seen in a 5th house kind of way where we're displaying what we enjoy. Well, the things that we are doing that affect in private, that affect our public life, right, can be on the stage and can be seen as something that we are proud of. Like the 5th house Leo is very prideful, right? So, you know, we take pride in our home. We take pride in our reputation, okay? These are things that we ultimately take pride in. So the alchemy is truly true and exists and resonates as well. Also, another cool thing to do, and I guess I should say to note as well, is that the 4th house, which is the moon, And the fifth house have a cool alchemy, right? Of course, that's the day and the night. So it's interesting that the nighttime would alchemize into the daytime, right? We spend our days reflecting on the things that happen. We spend our nights, I should say, reflecting on the things that we generated in the day, the things that were created, the things that happened to us, right? We will go home at night and we'll reflect back and kind of see what we can learn from revisiting the emotions that were going on as we experience these things, right? So there's this cool alchemy that the day and the night always kind of share with one another, or somehow dance with one another. You know, it's just my astrologer brain kind of coming up, y'all. But anywho, I'm at 20 minutes, so that's pretty much my time. I don't want to make these videos too long, but I do want to get the content out. And I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to share with you and run it on the 4th house and 10th house alchemy. So if you made it to this point of the video, thank you so much for joining me, okay? Also, like, share with your girl, you know, that's Karen. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't. And most of all, yo, just be positive and continue to embrace your power, okay? I like to say be positive and shit like that, but you know, I really ain't no namaste kind of shit. You know, I'm not the rainbow butterfly kind of girl, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it funky, okay? Embrace your motherfucking power today, okay? Cancer is a very powerful energy, all right, as well as Capricorn, and we are always able to tap into these, no matter what your sun sign or the transit is or anything like that, right? We can always tap into the power to intuitively reflect on the things that we care about, on the things that we're nurturing, in a way that we know we want it to be seen in the outside world, okay? And then alchemize it in a way that once we do that, we feel very good about it. The last thing that I want to say too before I head out as well, part of the reason why I do what I do and I'm into the spirituality sector of content creating is my own experiences with life and hardship and heartbreak. And there's a young lady who is from the neighborhood that my family's from. And it's the hood, you know, it's the hood, you know how it is when you're in the hood, you know, I mean, it's the 4th house, so it's home, so you love it, you know, you're familiar with it, your lineage is from there, you know these people, right? And there's something about being amongst those who are familiar, right? But then going out into the world, right? And becoming who you want to be seen as. And this young lady became a doctor, right? So she had gotten engaged, became a doctor, and she came back to the hood for a college send-off party, which was like so serendipitous, right? Like for you to have this moment where you came from the same place, you did the work, you put in the effort, you know, had to go out and talk to the moon a couple times because you felt like this shit was too much, but you kept going, right? And you became the GOAT. You became the one who summited the mountain and got to the top, right? And she did that. So she came home as part of that college send-off party, and sadly, she was snuffed out because some of the places that we have become, some of the places that we've come from, some of these hoods, some of these places where we still know people, our family's still there, cousins, aunties, grandmas, right? Every night is bullshit. Every night it's gun play. And it's not fair. It's not fair because it's just natural human psychology, right? To come from a place and then come back to it after you went out there and climbed the fucking mountain. After you went out there and you started the business, you've did the entrepreneurships, you've put in the time, you've gotten the certificates, right? You've done the work to be known as who you are known as, right? Doctor, Mr., CEO, you know, position, whatever you hold, ... right? You've done the fucking work to do that just to come back home and get snuffed out. Because you should be home and feel protected. But in reality, we know that home, or the 4th house, is not always the place that we find our protection. I don't know how to navigate this world, y'all. I don't have all the answers at all. But I know that intuitively sometimes we get feelings. Don't ever dismiss that feeling. It could truly save your life. You know, and I just wish everybody out there would have tapped into that feeling. Because I think after seeing the video, I think everybody knew something bad was going to happen. And something bad did happen. And it was the worst kind of tragedy that anybody... It's the worst kind of tragedy. And these things should not happen, but they do. And I wanted to just say shout out to that doctor and that young lady and her family. And that's part of the reason on why I do the things that I do. I do these things because, you know, there's just so much that's dismissed about the awesome, powerful tool of astrology. And if people just, you know, even if you don't listen to an astrologer, right? If you tapped into your personal power, if you tapped into feeling more empowered than you do like defeated, right? If more people were like that doctor who came from those places but decided to become something different and not stay in that bullshit that they tried to project on her, right? If more people did that, we'd have a better place. So she was the example, and as terrible as this tragedy is, may she continue to be the example for why we should all just want to do a little bit better, right? But it was just on my heart to say, just because, you know, I think a lot sometimes, and sometimes certain situations just, you know, just hard to process and make peace with certain realities. Yep. But anyway, you guys, if you're at this point, because I don't want to go too long with this video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the content, to like the video, to share and subscribe if you have not. Thank you so much for just being, you know, even if you don't do all this shit, right? Because I ain't trying to make you go to work, girl, okay? I'm not trying to make you go to work, sir, all right? Thank you for just participating and sharing in the space with me. This is truly a dream of mine to share this wonderful system that I have been asked to share, and the fact that you're a part of it just makes me over the moon. Right, pun intended. All right, so thank you so much again for joining me, guys, and until we talk again, you all take care. Bye.